Now, when I tell you I've been waiting a long time to get this interview done, I mean it. I literally spoke to Chris probably a year ago trying to get him onto an interview. He has a very, very busy job, very busy life, but this interview is me and Chris talking about how he's gone from somebody that's working as a flight attendant, traveling all over the world, to now a 600k funded trader who's tapering back on his work, transitioning into essentially full-time trading, and really his life has changed dramatically since then. So strap yourself in. I hope you enjoy this one, and I'll see you in the next one. I've been trying to get you on this interview since you told me that you had like your first 400k in funding and things were really kicking off. So as always, let's start from the very beginning. I think we've been working together for like maybe 2 years now, 18 months or so, I
Yes.
think it is. So yeah, let's start from before we were working together. And I guess firstly introduce yourself and then sort of talk about, I mean, how did all of this start for you?
Well, my name's Chris. I'm from the UK, 31. So when I started the journey of Forex, I found it online and you know exactly which way I'm going to go. Sign up, 300 quid. Where the 300 quid went, times it probably
Mhm.
by quite a few, tried different people. And in the end, I just got to the stage where I thought, this is not for me. I'm clearly doing something wrong. Obviously, when you're doing like what it used to be 10 pips, you know what I mean, whatever, 10 lots, you're just thinking, this is not risk management when what I know now. In reality, is where would I got off this 300 quid? Maybe I might have got up to about 2 grand by now in 2 years.
Yeah.
So that was the start. And then literally, I took a long break during COVID. And I remember I got my bonus from work. And I thought, am I going to waste it on beer, food? Because I was in Phoenix. I literally got paid. I'll always remember you. I was speaking to you before about hair tablets, believe it or not, out of all
Mhm.
things. And in Phoenix, I thought it's time to get this course. So I
Mhm.
got the course, worked through it, took some time. I'm very like I've got to do it. I've got to open the laptop and have my own private workspace. And obviously, my work time is my
Was
downtime.
yeah.
So I used to go out for beers down route. Instead of that, it was laptop open
Mhm.
and getting through the course. And once I got through the course, I was like, should I try an FTMO account? I thought, and you know, you're just on the fence because obviously I've never tried. So I tried a few demos. I was thinking, right, you've done your time now. You've done your time. So I first of all tried a 100k account.
Yeah.
Wasn't ready just yet. So I passed phase one and I thought, I've got the hang of this. Phase two, I tried to rush it. What happened?
Mhm.
So took a little bit of time, went back through the course, strategy as in like me timings, exactly what I was thinking. It was mostly about the mental
Yeah.
capacity. So I went, right, let's go for the 200k. I know I can do it. Let's go for 200k. So I started my first 200k account, passed that, got the other 200k quick concession. I think it was literally in space for a week. I got 400k funded from
Yeah. I remember you
FTMO
show. Yeah, I remember you showing me. I remember.
and literally got my first payout from FTMO. And literally, it was not a lot. I still don't like at the end of the day, I clear enough. I'm not after the big numbers. Like some people are
Mhm.
after the 20, 30 grand. I don't want the Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
And I know that's saying it when I was 18, I would have loved one.
Mhm.
Because I've got a newborn, a Lamborghini 2 seats is not going to work for me anymore.
No.
So for me, it's like bringing what life can I bring to my family now? So I'm happy to clear 3 grand a month off Forex. And then the rest comes from my salary at work.
Yeah.
So I'm clearing about 6, 7 grand a month after tax. What is,
Yeah.
I think that's impressive compared to what I used to be getting paid.
I mean,
And then
it's pretty much just doubling what you're earning, right? And you're doing very little added work for it, really. It's kind of a no-brainer, really.
And then it's another thing. I was speaking to George Cook about 3, 4 weeks ago. I can't remember. He's been chasing me as well. And I cleared another 200 grand. So I've got
Yeah.
600 grand funding.
Awesome.
So I haven't started that yet. To be fair, I want to start looking at doing gold. I don't know if it's going to be on an FTMO account or it's going to be on funded accounts. It's going to be my own personal capital because I know the volatility of gold is very, very dangerous at times.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm trying to build up my own capital to do basically my own account.
Hmm.
So I can not leave away from FTMO. That can be building me cash flow when I can be building me assets for going future.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's great to hear. I mean, I'm a big believer in the whole model of using your funded accounts to increase your income. Use that to increase your monthly cash flow, and then you can use that cash flow to invest in your own personal funds. And then I think having like I mean, when you start to get to the 4, 6, 800 million in funding, I mean, you're naturally gonna be in a great position to do 5 figures a month from your trading. So you then start feeding money into your personal funds, and then that can obviously sort of build your wealth over time. But cool. So again, things have gone really well for you now. 18 months or so, 600K in capital. I want to go back to the beginning a little bit and sort of understand sort of where your head was at in terms of why trading? I mean, why were you sort of specifically attracted to trading? I mean, there's a million ways of making money online. So what was the sort of main thing for trading for
So
you?
let's think. I would say probably it's. I used to do knock door neighbours. I used to call it cold calling. You know that one you probably used to slam the door in the face. And I was in Newcastle. I'll always remember I was quite young. Left the bookies when I was about 21, and the salt is the dream. And literally was no dream. Walking
Hmm.
down icy streets, knocking on people's doors, getting rejected, and it learned us a lot of lessons. So from that, I was like, right, at least with Forex, I'm in control. If I'm selling a product online, I know there's some very good people who sell products online, but for me, I'm waiting for someone to buy that product. And I'm going to use a good example, your nipple tassels.
Yeah.
Because as you can tell, I've watched some of your podcasts, especially the one with Brits. I learned a lot through that podcast, to be honest with you, George. I remember watching that in Aberdeen, and I learned so much where entrepreneurs go. For example, yourself, you've tried different models, and for me, it's just me online. Forex is the way for me, and
Mhm.
me trying FT and what's it called, like Amazon resell. What else is there? You got loads of social media marketing. For me, it's just too much effort.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Forex is not effort, but it's less effort because I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I always say, I think when you look at like the risk to reward or like what you have to put into what you have to get out. If you look at trading, you have to put a lot in, right? You've got to go through a lot of trial and error, a lot of struggle to start with, and you're not going to earn money straight away. You're probably not going to earn any money straight away. Like, whereas if you start with e-commerce and social media marketing, you might make a little bit, you're not going to earn a load, but with trading, you don't earn anything. You build the skill set, but then as soon as you've got that skill set and you unlock 100K in funding, 200K in funding, all of a sudden you've opened a floodgate of a lot of money to be made. Like you don't just start making a few £100s a month here and there. You have a skill set, you use that skill set, and you're making thousands. Like there's sort of no in between. So it's like, yes, you've obviously got to put in a lot of work at the beginning, but the rewards outweigh for me anything else in terms of like making money online.
Yeah. It's like, for example, like my missus the other day, I was having a down draw day, 1% down. And I don't very have many of them these days. But when I had the 1% drawdown, I thought, oh, you're just thinking, am I going to go down the same mental route? Am I going to start going down that down path? I thought, oh no. Walked away, came back the following day, made 3%.
Yeah.
And my missus doesn't understand 1% and 3%. Obviously, what we talk. She just seen the number at the bottom and she went, oh my God. I went,
Mhm.
and she went, you don't even look bothered. I went, I'm not.
This is trading. This is trading life.
As long as you have an up month or an up year, that is the main thing. And
Yeah.
I've had them days where I wouldn't like to put a number on how much I spent on Forex over the years. It's probably, I'm obviously up now, but I'll tell you now, putting the money in from the start, I've put in a lot of investment.
Mhm. But when you do learn the skill set, like you might be in a bit of a hole, but as soon as you learn that skill set and you do things the right way in terms of funding, you can pretty much wipe out those losses in a
2
month or
weeks.
two of payouts. It's really, it is kind of like you front load the spend and try and get that experience in, and then as soon as you get that edge, as soon as you learn what your edge is in the market, it's the sort of floodgates open. Which is why I'm a big believer in funded accounts, especially for new traders that don't have that capital behind them. It's a life-changing opportunity. I'm sure that if there wasn't the opportunity of funding, I can't imagine that things would be as good as they are now for you if that wasn't the case.
If there was no funded accounts, I'll be honest with you, I would be in the same routine, 300 quid, losing every month. And for funded accounts, it's incredible what you can achieve. And it was funny or not, because I used my Forex funds for the last 200k, and I got a random email in the email box. And the only thing this email account's linked up to is me trading. And it was like, hi, can I take your signals off you? What are you talking about? I ignored the email because it was clearly just a try blank run email. I realized on that website they give you email address out. You can actually traders can email you.
Right.
And I went, if you're not getting any of my trades. I went, if you want to learn trades, you can get onto George Linth and he'll get you on the course.
Yeah.
And the
Come and
thing
learn
is,
it.
that's where people are at. I've got a good friend Aldo. He's like, I want to learn, I want to learn, I want to learn. I'm like, you're 64. Do you want to learn? Yes or no? And I'm trying to make him say it for another 2 months, only because if he says it for the next 2 months, I know he wants to learn.
Yeah.
But he says it for 1 month because he's saying profits. What's he after, the profits or the skill set? And that's
Yeah.
where I'm at with people.
For
And that's the
sure.
way you probably get people into the course now.
Yeah.
Are you actually want it? Or are you just after the money?
Yeah. No, 100%. And that's why we do our calls before people join, right? Because we want to work with people that we can do this with, that we can sit down with and talk about their results and how they've changed their life through trading. We don't want to talk to somebody that said, "Oh yeah, I followed your signals and I've made £1,000 this month." That's not what we want to do, and that's not how we create like life-changing results for people. It's by having that pain that you want to fix through a new skill set. You work hard at something, you learn the strategies that are already proven, you put the work in, and you then see results. And it's not just results for 1 month or 2 months, it's a life-changing skill set that will last forever. Once you've got the skill of being able to read the markets, you can read the markets. It's going to be here for a very, very long time, if not all of your life. So yeah, I think mindset is for sure. You have to be coming into this for the right reasons. And I think that it took you in the beginning of your journey, it took you a bit of time to figure out maybe what those reasons were, like going through the signals and stuff like that. You sort of have to make those realizations before you go, okay, right, I need to cut the shit here and do this properly. And then that's when you obviously start seeing the results.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. With the results itself, like every single payday, when I get the payday through, I just look at it and go, how did I do that? Like even to this day, when it hits me account, I'm going, wow, because my missus at first when she went, oh, this is a scam. I will not
Everyone
believe
says
it
it.
until it hits the bank account. And when it hit the bank account, it didn't drop, but it was like,
Yeah, what?
at the end of the day, no one's heard of like who's not in the trading space of FTM or these funded accounts. And I'm quite glad of that because if people knew about these, you'd get the gamblers coming in and
Mhm.
just trying it and trying it and trying it because someone's going to get lucky and get the 200k account, but it's maintaining the 200k accounts.
Yeah. Oh, well, you see people that gamble, get the account, get one payout, and then they've lost it.
Yeah.
And it's just not sustainable. Like you need to have solid foundations first. It might take you a bit longer to pass the challenge, or you might have to be a bit more aggressive to pass the challenge, but you then need to be able to understand, you need to then understand, how do I preserve this capital and make it last? So you can then build on that as well, which is I guess is what you've done, right? You've started 200, got to 400, got to 600, and because it's sustainable what you do, you're going to maintain that capital.
It's quite interesting because when I do a trading challenge to when I actually trade on the actual funded accounts, I trade two different ways.
Mhm.
I'm down to 0.25 risk, so 20, like literally less than a quarter of a percent now on every trade. Because then my risk to reward's really low, but my capital's high. So I'm still getting the profits, but my risk is really low now.
Yeah.
Compared to when I'm doing the challenge rate, maybe 0.5% halfway through, and then I go up to 1% to finish it off.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of for purpose, isn't it? I mean, if you look at a funded challenge, like there's no point sitting in that challenge forever. You might as well fail it or pass it because you need the capital there to make money. So you might fail a couple of challenges being a bit more aggressive, but you've only essentially risked £1,000, £2,000 in doing so. As soon as you get the funded account, you're going to make that back in. I mean, it's a couple of trades worth of profit. So it's kind of the risk to reward balances itself sort of over the course of maybe a few challenges or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do. I'm very much behind that strategy as well. I just want to talk about. Obviously, you've had a fairly good journey, right? You've smashed it. You're obviously doing great things now. But is there any sort of main struggles that you had, or anything that you sort of that you found quite difficult to get over, like a sort of a breakthrough that was a little bit difficult for you to make?
So, because obviously our strategy is we generally trade the London session, and I'm in different time zones, and I've been trying to get up for the 2 a.m. in New York. I'm in Singapore. I like to buy the best because it's generally a good time to wake up, and then you get your trading done for the day. But for example, now I've kind of moved away from that system, getting up at 6 a.m. and getting on if I miss the London session, there's a New York session.
Yeah.
And I tend to now go on the time zones of where exactly I'm trading from.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, this month I'm not much I go out the world, but next month I'm in New York for 4 days. So I'll probably trade the New York session because it's easier
Yeah.
than it is to try and trade the London session tired.
Yeah. And I think that demonstrates skill set, right? You once you've got the understanding as to how to find higher probability trades in the market, it's going to present itself continuously through each session. So you can kind of plug and play what you've learned into the session that is most viable for you. And like I think a lot of traders do get quite fixed. I think it happens a lot. So for me, I've always been in London session trading zone. So I just focus on waking up, get my trading done, and then that's me. That's me done. But regardless, somebody that is maybe not in UK time zone, what we teach can be plugged and put into a different time zone. It's still the same concepts are going to give you that edge in the market. So yeah, I think that is that's I think that obviously clearly demonstrates that you've got the knowledge and you can apply it to wherever you need to apply it to get the results you need to get.
And that's where I'm at. And that's exactly where I see the time zones is probably the best adaptation of the course. The course itself is very, very knowledgeable, but it's how you acknowledge the knowledgement. For example, I don't trade obviously 7 days a week because the market's only open 5 days a week. But the other 2 days, I'm preparing for the next week. So, for example, I listen to podcasts, listen to high end traders, and we're talking millions. I listen to what they've done, what's their story, what's their background, and then I go right. Let's have a look at the markets, play back markets, watch me analysts, and I watch me winning trades and me losing trades, and where have I went wrong. And generally, where I went wrong is I either entered the market too late, or I've had not enough sleep and bad mindset that day.
Yeah.
And that's generally the three major reasons. So I always wake up in the morning now and go, am I awake to trade? Because then that narrows one down. Am I in a bad mood? No. Right. Let's get this laptop on.
Yeah. Making sure that you're in the optimal mindset, you're actually able to perform at a high level before you start to go and take risk in the market.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. I think some people aren't self-aware enough. I think we do see it a lot where people just look at the charts, they try and find a trade, and then they're like, wonder why they're taking losses. And it's like, are you thinking straight? Are you following the process? Are the rules being met? Have you had enough sleep? Are you actually sharp? And I think those are definitely things that you do need to think about. And if you're not optimizing your life around that as well to ensure that you can do that on a consistent basis, then I think you're putting yourself at a huge, huge disadvantage. I mean, it's something that we see commonly across the top performers in our program and in the trading industry wide, I guess. I mean, you look at all of the top performers, they're all optimizing these sorts of things as well.
It's the community. What I laugh at is when people go, I've lost a trade. I'm thinking, why are you entering the trade at this time in the morning? When I look in the market, I'm going, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
But that's just because obviously they're still learning at that stage. When they get the experience, they'll realise they'll sit on their hands.
Mhm. Wait for the right ones. Like there's high probability, there's low probability. Don't be caught by those. Don't be caught by those early moves. So many people
Yeah.
do. So many people do.
Like I've
Cool.
been times where I've sat on my hands for a full week, not placed a trade.
Yeah.
And I don't look at the charts all the time. Literally, I find trading very boring now. And it's not because it's boring. It's very, very. I go on the charts in the morning, have a look. If there's nothing there, shut the laptop, call it a day.
Hmm.
If there is something there, I might be on the charts. Maybe I like being in and out of trades in 90 minutes,
Yeah.
in and out. I don't like this. I know people do day trading, people do swing trading. For me, I couldn't think of keeping a trade on for 3 weeks. I couldn't think of anything worse.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Maybe when I get my own account and keep it on like my own personal capital, I might do more swing trading because you can leave it longer. But on FTMO, that the idea is to get the money out of the FTMO as quick as possible,
Yeah.
in and
Yeah.
out, in and out.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I guess just kind of expand on that and get a bit more detail from you. In terms of your trades, I mean, what would you say like your average risk to reward is? I mean, what sort of R are you looking to take on a single
So
position?
it depends. I always do 1 to 3 as a minimum. If I kind of see that, there's no point. But
Yeah.
for example, the other day with them on Friday when it was bad, heavy news in the US, I went for 1 to 6,
Hmm.
and it was in and out in 25 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. So a little bit more aggressive, like the risk to reward has to kind of make up for the
Yeah,
aggressive side of the position. But yeah, same as me, 1 to 3 is always the minimum that I'm gonna allow myself to take as a viable position. But
it's not even worth getting out of bed for anything less. Because
no,
I remember a bit on your course, it was like 1 to 1, no, you're not profitable, and 1 to 3 is where you just start hitting profitability, and that's where you got to
yeah,
look at it.
I think it's about ease, right? I mean, obviously, if you have a 1 to 3, you can lose more trades than you win, and you're still going to make money. So just by adding that into the way that you trade, it allows you to find edge so much easier because, like, the winning like you don't have to win that many trades at a 1 to 3 or above to be profitable. So it kind of like I think the win rate is far more difficult to achieve. A high win rate is far more difficult to achieve than, for example, a certain risk to reward, like a minimum risk to reward. So it kind of makes sense to sort of optimize your system based on risk to reward, as opposed to trying to get like the best win rate. Obviously, finding a balance, right? You're never going to get like 1 to 10s or 1 to 8s all the time, but finding that balance so that you know that you can underperform in terms of percentage and obviously still be in a position of being profitable.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess kind of want to talk about the future a little bit. Obviously, you're really starting to kick on now. You're still obviously in work.
Yeah.
What are your future plans? I mean, are you looking to transition away from your I would say 9 to 5, but it's obviously not a 9 to 5 job. I mean, have you got the
It's
thoughts of going into the full-time world or?
it's a hard decision, believe it or not, George, if I'm perfectly honest with you. So my missus is Argentinian. I would love to move down there, but the climate down in Argentina is not the best for
Mhm.
myself. So it's like we had this discussion lately. I was talking to her the other day. I was like, Dubai's too hot. And my missus went, it was that night. She went, oh, I would consider Dubai. But then I don't want to be that person who moves to Dubai because everyone's moving to Dubai. So I would say at the moment, what I'm doing exactly at this moment of time, I work full time. I've dropped the contract down 87.5% last year. So I have dropped my contract a little bit of work. Um, I've minimized my time in the air so I can do more time on the ground. So I work for the union as well. And I
Mhm.
use the union time for trading time as well because I can
Perfect.
manage it more on the ground. If I've got signal, there's money to be made.
Yeah.
And literally going into the future, I'm already investing for my little boy in the S&P 500. I know he's literally 1 month old. So with that 1 month over the time, it's going to build very nice for him.
Yeah.
And then I even said to my missus, it's going to be a decision when he's 18 or 21, wherever I decide. He either can take half out and spend it and not get the other half, or you can invest the full amount. So that
Perfect.
is where I'm at with investing. However, I have looked at crypto before, and I've always got to say, if everyone's talking about it, it's too good to be true.
Hmm.
And it's not because it's not good to be true. There is money being made, but at the moment, everyone's talking about the hype. I'm not going into the highs. I know from trading, sit on your hands, wait until everyone stops talking about it, and then have a look at the markets.
Yeah, for sure. Like making sure you're deploying your capital at the right time. I mean, I think especially in investing, if you're investing in markets, crypto, equities, whatever, I think if you're making those long-term investments, then to some degree, timing the market is important. Obviously, you can dollar cost average in and stuff like that, but obviously, when the hype is here and we're at all-time highs, it's like, okay, well, maybe it's now isn't the best time. Maybe just stay patient, wait for that correction, and then yeah, jump in.
I've got a friend who did that a few years ago. It was on Ethereum. He got in at the all-time high, and then it obviously went all the way down, but he was cost averaging. And he said to us the other day, when I'm just back to even. And I'm thinking, if you just put in the old low, like the all-time low, at the lower points, you would have been because he's run on the hype.
Yeah, always painful, always
And I'd
painful.
rather sit on the investment and wait for the right time.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I think people have such desire to be in the market. It's the same with trading, right? They have so much desire to be in the market that they just get in and they don't time things properly. They don't write for the right setups to be provided. But often you're far better off just sitting on cash and deploying it and being patient and deploying it at the right time than you are just getting in. Like it's just the like opposite of human psychology, I think. Kind of when you feel like you should be in, you probably shouldn't. And when you feel like you shouldn't be in, that's when you probably should be in. But yeah, I
I
think
think
it's
I've
just
learned that from past experience. So now I
yeah,
know to sit on my hands more,
yeah,
and that's what I do. I don't literally sit on them, but I feel like I sit on them more than I'd actually trade. And even like my missus, like used to go every day, how much you made off forex, how much you made, how much you made. Now she doesn't ask us. She goes probably once a month. Oh, what's your profit like this month? And it's just because it came from experience from her, from the supports point. Because her asking how much I'm making, if I'm on a down draw, you know what you're going to end up doing. And
yeah.
now, if I'm on a down draw, I just say, yeah, I've had a bad day, I've lost 1%.
Yeah.
It's being
But
true to yourself about it.
yeah, and I think a lot of traders really do struggle with sitting on their hands. Like the amount of people I see, and I'll go back and I'll look at the trades they've made, and they've made like 7, 8, 9, 10 trades in a week, and it's like, how are you doing that? Like for me, I've made 3 trades this week, 1 break even, 2 wins. Last week I had 1 trade. Week before that, a couple of trades.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like sitting on your hands is like you cannot trade that high frequency and still make money. It's just the more you're in the market, the harder it is. And I think having that ability to sit on your hands, understanding exactly what you're looking for, is so powerful. Because otherwise you just get sucked in and you become a
Yeah.
gambler, and then you lose your money, and then you got to go through the harsh realization that what you're doing isn't right and start all over again. And I'm sure
I
you've kind
think
of been through those thoughts, I imagine.
like week, I've literally placed 3 trades, and one's actually still running now, but literally 3 trades all week. And what
Yeah,
day we on Friday? Last week, I think I placed 1 trade.
yeah,
So I don't trade every day. I look at the markets every day, but if the trade's not there, it's not there.
hmm,
And some people look at it on a Monday and go, "Oh, I hate trading Mondays. They're my worst days. If I trade on a Monday, it's generally my worst day. And the market's either flat or it's too volatile for me. It's not in the middle.
yeah.
Mondays, I do look at the market, but it has to be very special for a Monday trade.
Hmm. Yeah, like an A plus setup's got to beat all of the rules. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, I definitely get you for sure. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's always looking at your data, right? It's looking at your data and seeing where the wins are, where you're profitable, where you're not, and then refining it from there. And I think a lot of people don't do that.
And I've also as well realised I used to have a bad habit, exactly where I'm going to go with this. I used to look at my trading account on FTMO. Well, obviously, it's on MetaTrader 4 every half an hour, keep an eye on my
Hmm.
trades. I keep the stage now where I'm checking that often now. Maybe once an
Yeah,
hour, maybe once every couple of hours, depending what I'm trading. I like DX Trade a lot better than I do MT4. And it's just MT4 is a great software, but literally you've got to work out obviously your risk size, your lot size, and then put it on DX Trade. For me, it literally clarifies what I always make sure I do it myself, but it clarifies exactly what I was doing.
Yeah, a lot of these new platforms are doing that, and I think like even like C-Trade, I haven't used DX-Trade. I've had a play around with C-Trade, and I think obviously what they're doing is they're looking at what a lot of these previous platforms haven't done and what people are adding into them to try and make them better, and they've just done that into their single platform. So yeah, I think there's definitely a lot to be thinking about now in terms of platforms and prop firms and stuff like that. But yeah, cool. We've we've been going for half an hour or so now. So a couple more questions just for the people that are listening to this. Firstly, for anybody that is sitting on the fence, people that are thinking about getting into trading, maybe they're in trading, they're not getting the results that they want. What would your biggest tip be to them?
Don't go for signals. Don't go the easy way. That's my first tip, and definitely probably listen to your podcast, especially with the one what you did with what's his name?
Riz?
Riz. Yes, that's the one. Definitely listen to that because it'll tell you the journey what George has went through. Listen to the testimonials. Testimonials don't lie, and then literally, if save up enough money for you to buy the course, but also as well to live a sustainable life while you're learning the skill. Because if you're chasing the money and you're struggling for money, the course you're going to rush it and not learn the course the way you should be learning it. That's me probably top tips.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think so many people look at trading as a way to solve their money problems, but it will just make it worse. Like getting into trading, you need to have money behind you, right? You need to have that comfort of being able to focus on the process, not the profits. And then the profits are just a byproduct of mastering that process. So yeah, I think that's definitely great advice. But yeah, cool. Thank you for jumping on with me. Finally, after all of this time of me asking you, I'm sure there's a ton that people have learned from this. And I'm sure, as I said in the last interview with a guy that's just about to be launched, actually, I'm sure there's a lot of people thinking right now and having some big decisions to make. So I do appreciate it. Hopefully we'll jump on in another year or so, see where you're at. But yeah, all the best, and yeah, we'll catch up soon.
Well, hopefully the next one's in Dubai with a beer in my hand.
Everyone says that. Everyone says that, Chris.
Listen, I'll be in Dubai probably from September onwards when it cools down. All right.
Cool. Cool. Let me know. Let
When
me
I'm
know
in
when you're
Dubai,
here.
all right.
Awesome. Nice one. But yeah,
All
I do
right.
appreciate you jumping on with me, mate. And yeah, have a good rest of your weekend, and yeah, we'll catch up soon.
All right. Take care. All right. Bye
Awesome.
bye.
Take care, mate. Bye bye.